The cycle of anxiety is a complex pattern involving thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and physical sensations that reinforce each other, leading to heightened anxiety levels. Understanding this cycle is crucial in effectively managing and overcoming anxiety. In this video, we will break down the 8-step of a typical anxiety cycle. Trigger. The cycle of anxiety begins with a trigger, like a stressful event or a perceived threat. This trigger prompts a heightened state of alertness and activates the body's fight or flight response, causing symptoms such as increased heart rate, sweating, and rapid breathing. These physical sensations reinforce the perception of danger, intensifying the anxiety. To alleviate these uncomfortable feelings, people often engage in avoidance behaviors, such as steering clear of the triggering situation. While avoidance provides temporary relief, it ultimately strengthens the anxiety by reinforcing the belief that the situation is dangerous. Over time, this cycle can lead to increased sensitivity to anxiety triggers and a more restricted lifestyle. Breaking the cycle involves confronting the triggers in a controlled manner, allowing the brain to learn that the perceived threats are not actually dangerous, thus reducing the anxiety response. Perception. The cycle of anxiety often begins with a perception of threat, which triggers a fear response. For example, perceiving a dog as dangerous can cause anxiety. This perception activates the fight or flight response, leading to physical symptoms like a racing heart and sweating. These symptoms reinforce the belief that the threat is real, increasing anxiety. To manage these feelings, individuals may avoid the perceived threat, such as by avoiding dogs altogether. While avoidance offers temporary relief, it perpetuates the cycle by confirming the belief that dogs are dangerous. Over time, this reinforces the perception of threat and heightens anxiety. Breaking this cycle involves changing perceptions through gradual exposure to the feared situation, allowing the brain to learn that the perceived threat is not real, thereby reducing the anxiety response and altering the initial perception of danger. Physical response. The cycle of anxiety involves a physical response that perpetuates the condition. When a person perceives a threat, the body initiates the fight or flight response, releasing adrenaline and other stress hormones. This leads to physical symptoms such as a racing heart, sweating, and muscle tension. For instance, someone afraid of public speaking might experience these symptoms before a presentation. These physical responses can be misinterpreted as further evidence of the threat, intensifying the anxiety. To avoid these uncomfortable sensations, the person might evade the triggering situation, like canceling the presentation. This avoidance provides short-term relief, but reinforces the cycle by preventing the person from learning that the situation is not truly dangerous. Overcoming this cycle involves facing the fear and enduring the physical responses until the brain adapts and anxiety diminishes. Emotional response. When faced with a perceived threat, such as a job interview, a person might feel intense fear or dread. These emotions are natural but can be overwhelming. The emotional response can trigger physical symptoms like a racing heart or sweaty palms, further convincing the person that the situation is dangerous. To escape these distressing feelings, the person might avoid the interview altogether. This avoidance brings temporary relief but reinforces the anxiety, making future encounters with similar situations even more daunting. Overcoming this cycle requires confronting the feared situation, experiencing the emotions fully, and realizing that the danger is not as severe as imagined. With repeated exposure, the emotional response diminishes, breaking the cycle of anxiety and building resilience. Idea sessions present to you the Hip Flexor Program. Designed to enhance not only your physical health, but also your mental well-being. In today's fast-paced world, stress and anxiety often take a toll on our lives. Our program targets the hip flexors, key muscles that hold stress and tension, providing relief and promoting relaxation. Engaging in our specialized exercises releases this tension, reducing stress and anxiety levels significantly. Additionally, The endorphins released during these activities naturally uplift your mood, combating feelings of depression and boosting overall mental health. Our program also improves flexibility, posture, and mobility, leading to a more active, pain-free lifestyle. Imagine starting each day feeling stronger, more flexible, and mentally refreshed. Join our hip flexor program today and take the first step toward a healthier, happier you and embrace a life free from stress and anxiety. To get your hip flexor program, now click in the link in the description below. Behavioral response. When an individual perceives a threat, such as public speaking, they may experience anxiety and engage in avoidance behaviors, like declining invitations to speak. This avoidance temporarily reduces anxiety, but reinforces the belief that the situation is dangerous. The next time a similar situation arises, the anxiety is likely to be stronger, leading to more avoidance. This cycle traps the individual, limiting their opportunities and reinforcing their fear. To break this cycle, one must confront the feared situation through gradual exposure. For instance, starting with speaking in front of a small, supportive group can help. Over time, repeated exposure reduces the anxiety response, and the individual learns that they can handle the situation, diminishing the need for avoidance and promoting healthier behavioral responses. Short-term relief. The cycle of anxiety is often maintained by seeking short-term relief through avoidance. When faced with a perceived threat, such as a social gathering, an individual may experience intense anxiety. To alleviate this discomfort, they might avoid the event entirely. This avoidance provides immediate relief, reinforcing the behavior as a coping mechanism. However, this short-term relief comes at a cost. By consistently avoiding anxiety-provoking situations, the individual never confronts or challenges their fears, which perpetuates and often intensifies the anxiety over time. For instance, if someone avoids public speaking due to fear, they miss opportunities to build confidence and reduce anxiety. This avoidance cycle traps them in a pattern where short-term relief prevents long-term progress, emphasizing the need for gradual exposure and coping strategies to break free from anxiety's grip. Long-term consequences. The cycle of anxiety often leads to long-term consequences that can significantly impact one's life. Initially, avoidance behaviors provide short-term relief from anxiety. However, over time, this pattern reinforces and exacerbates the anxiety. For instance, avoiding social situations due to fear of embarrassment may result in increased social isolation and difficulty forming relationships. As avoidance becomes a habitual response, it can limit opportunities for personal and professional growth, leading to decreased self-esteem and confidence. Additionally, the unaddressed anxiety can contribute to the development of other mental health issues, such as depression. The cycle perpetuates itself as the individual increasingly relies on avoidance to cope, creating a shrinking world where anxiety dominates decision-making and hinders overall well-being. Breaking this cycle requires confronting fears and building resilience through gradual exposure and supportive interventions. Reinforcement. The cycle of anxiety is perpetuated through reinforcement, where avoidance behaviors provide short-term relief but ultimately strengthen the anxiety. When a person encounters a trigger, such as public speaking, they experience anxiety and discomfort. To escape these feelings, they might avoid the situation altogether. This avoidance brings immediate relief, reinforcing the behavior as an effective coping mechanism. Over time, the brain associates avoidance with safety and comfort, leading to a stronger anxiety response to similar triggers in the future. For example, if someone avoids social gatherings due to fear of judgment, the temporary relief they feel reinforces their belief that avoidance is necessary. This reinforcement cycle makes it harder to face anxiety-inducing situations, gradually shrinking the person's world and increasing their reliance on avoidance. Breaking this cycle involves facing fears incrementally and reducing reliance on avoidance behaviors. If you found value in today's video, make sure to watch our other videos about mental health and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. By subscribing, it will help us do similar videos. So if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell to never miss an update. In the description below, they are links that can help you work on reducing your anxiety, stress, insomnia, and depression. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.